Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Shnipad Panaman Supri Braj Kacharja Stotra Satashi Shimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Raj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kundi Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadip Dham ki jai. Jagannath Puri ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Jamuna Mai ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bo. Thank you very much, Maharaj. Thank you, Ekendra Prabhu. And thank you, dear devotees, for joining this evening as we embark upon the second chapter of the second canto. Today we'll be on Canto 2, Chapter 2, Text number 1. And as always, we'll be keeping this as an interactive session. So in between, whenever there's a chance for comments or questions, feel free to raise hand or type your comment question in the chat box, and we'll try to accommodate you. Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Thank you very much. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnana Timirantasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadhati Shapatantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Shagrasatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Pradijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitascha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Ori Priye Vansha Kolpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhobhyevacha Titanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We're beginning the second chapter of the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the first chapter, we heard about the Virat Rupa, the universal form of the Lord. We were guided in how to transfer our thoughts, which are absorbed in matter, to a material conception of the Lord as the universal form, the body of the universe. But now we're going to go further. Sri Shukavacha, Evang Pura Dharanayatma Yonir Nashtam Smritim Pratyavarudhya Tushtat Tata Sasarjadam Amogadrishtir Yatapyayat Prag Vyavasaya Buddhi. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, formerly, prior to the manifestation of the cosmos, Lord Brahma, by meditating on the Virat Rupa, regained his lost consciousness by appeasing the Lord. Thus he was able to rebuild the creation as it was before. In the purport, Prabhupada explains that Brahma, despite his material power, forgot how to create the universe, to do it. And Prabhupada points out that this is there in everyone. And he says it can be counteracted by meditation on the Virat Rupa. In the human form of life, if one hears from Srimad Bhagavatam and meditates on the Virat Rupa, then revival of his pure consciousness begins, and counteraction of the tendency to forget his eternal relationship with the Lord can follow automatically. And when the forgetfulness is removed, then Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Ekeha Vipudanandana. This ascertained knowledge, that's Prabhupada's term for Vyavasaya Buddhi, leads to loving service to the Lord, which the living being requires. We need this. The kingdom of God is unlimited. The number of assisting hands of the Lord is unlimited. Sarvata Panipadam Tat. Everyone is an expansion of the Lord, and the hands and legs of the Lord, therefore, are everywhere, all meant for rendering a particular pattern of service to the Lord. We forget this by false ego, but that can be counteracted by God consciousness. Liberation means getting out of the slumber of forgetfulness and becoming situated in the real loving service of the Lord. Muktirhitvanyata rupam svarupena vivastati. Liberation is never inaction, but service without human mistakes. The Evam Pura Dhana Atmayoni, the self-born Lord Brahma, Dharanaya, by meditation on this universal form, Virat Rupa, Nashtam Smritim Pratyavarudhya, he regained his lost consciousness. Tushtat, because he pleased the Lord. Tushta means satisfaction. Satisfied. Then he was able to do everything, as before, Vyavasaya Buddhi, by fixed intelligence. The universe is not a new creation or a new invention. As it was before, it's created again, same pattern. It's not like every spring there's something different. Spring is spring each time, summer is summer. So the creation is done by Brahma as it was in the past. Any questions here? Okay. Shabdasya hi brahmana esha panta yanamapir jayati dhir apartaihi paribrahmans tatra davindatirtan maya maye vasanaya shayanaha. The way of presentation of the Vedic sounds is so bewildering that it directs the intelligence of the people to meaningless things like the heavenly kingdom. The conditioned souls hover in dreams of such heavenly, illusory pleasures, but actually they don't relish any tangible happiness in such places. Shabdasya hi brahmana esha panta yat namabhi jayati di apartai. The living entities hears all sorts of sounds from the Vedas. What is that? Yamimam Pushpitam Bacham. The Pushpitam Bacha, flowery words of the Vedas, so they hear about heaven and they hear about elevation and they hear about so many things, but they just become bewildered thinking about these things. Namabi, it's just different names. There's no, if you transfer this to our everyday experience, there's so many things that we want or we need that they're just names. The brand, the whole concept of branding, there's something like very special about iPhones, so that they can charge what 5 times as much as a basic phone that does 90% of the same thing, because it's got the name. There are so many Jaguars and BMWs. I mean, they're cars, but the name lights everything up. There's Prabhupada talks about exploitation. We're not satisfied exploiting the resources of the world we're on or trying to enjoy what we've got. We want to go to the moon or Venus and exploit resources there. But it's all the same. Even if you go to the topmost planet, it's, as Prabhupada says, not a happy land for residential purposes due to the presence of material world is a happy land. That we're finding out, the happy land is not so happy these days. Real happiness is in the kingdom of God, where no one has to undergo the pangs of material existence. Therefore, the Vedic ways of fruitive activities are misleading. One thinks of a superior way of life in this country or that, get eternal life for happiness. That also we find, you go to, like, now there's not much going on in the travel industry, but it's when the industry is active, then it's New Orleans and Mauritius and Miami and Hollywood, and it's just names. Hawaii. When you go there, it's really the same as everywhere else. People are working, people are trying to be happy, people are sometimes happy, sometimes distressed, but the name gets us going. I'd like to go to Hawaii, I'd like to go here, I'd like to go there. Not even the higher planets will satisfy us. Anything else here? Questions, comments?
Ekendra Prabhu had a comment, and
okay,
on the earlier purport.
Interesting that Prabhupada uses the phrase, all of them are meant for rendering a particular pattern of service to the Lord. You'd like to hear what I have to say about the word pattern. Where's that, Ekendra? First, in the first purport?
Yeah, in the previous purport.
Yeah, I see it now. The expansions of differentiated parts and parcels, the jivas, the living entities, are assisting hands of the Lord. And all of them are meant for rendering a particular pattern of service to the Lord. Well, I can't read Prabhupada's mind in using pattern. These have a particular prescribed duties. In the elsewhere in Bhagavatam, it said otam protam, as the cloth is made of threads going vertically and horizontally. So the living entities have their place according to their position: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. So we're all meant to serve in a particular pattern of service to the Lord, according to prescribed duties or according to the spiritual master's direction. I don't have more to about pattern. It is an interesting locution or choice of words. I don't have more. Did you have something? Do you have some thoughts about it, Kendra? Hello?
Hare Krishna. I was just waiting to try to unmute myself there.
He's slowly.
No, sometimes he uses phrases like that you don't hear anywhere else.
Yeah.
And it makes you think, well, what does he mean by pattern? I really like what you said about the threads in a cloth going this way and that, and creating the fabric of society or Vedic culture or whatever it be. And it made me think that, yes, pattern, it means an organized array of something or other, either visually or in terms of audio signal. There's something organized that creates a pleasing effect, and it's almost like sound vibration. If it's arranged in a proper pattern, then it's pleasing. It means something. It's pleasant to the ear. So when he said pattern, it made me think that we need to align ourselves with the fabric of the universe, like you were saying, so that we can.
Well, I've got a slow signal here, and now I've seen my internet connection is unstable. I'm going to move. I'll go closer to the router. I don't know if that'll help things.
That tends to help, Maharaj, in the past.
Excuse me?
With other devotees, it has helped.
Tell me again, Madhumanga.
If you go closer to the router, it may help. It has helped in the past with other devotees.
Yes, no?
Yes.
Everything's kind of.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not hearing. Hold on a second. Let me move. I'm not hearing anybody very well. Well, this is as good as I get. I'm practically hugging the router.
Well, it's much smoother now. Can you hear me, Maharaj?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Wonderful. Yeah, I was thinking of commenting a little more on this. Srila Prabhupada says that all of them, the living entities are assistant hands of the Lord, and all of them are meant for rendering a particular pattern of service, not just pattern, but a particular pattern. Meaning that I'm thinking that there's different groups of devotees, like there's different groups of gopis who do certain things, there's different groups of cows, they're different color, so there's like categories. So a particular bunch of devotees will have a particular pattern that they follow, and then some others will follow their pattern, but it all comes together to serve the Lord in a variety of patterns. That's
nice.
What I'm reading it.
Good, thank you. Anyone else on that, this pattern of devotional service? Okay. Let us carry on. We'll move to Ata Kavir Namasu Yavad Artha Syad Apramato Vyavasaya Buddhi Siddhenya Tarte Nayateta Tatra Parishramam Tatra Samikshamana. For this reason, Ataha, the enlightened person, Kavi, should endeavor only for the minimum necessities of life, while in the world of names, Namasu, Yavad Artaha, only what he needs, Jivasya Tattva Jigyasa, Narto Yasche Karmabi. He should be intelligently fixed, apramatta, he shouldn't be mad after these things, and he should be situated in vyavasaya buddhi, fixed intelligence. Siddhe anyata arte, he shouldn't have any other interest. Na anyata arte. yateta. He shouldn't endeavor for anything else. Being competent to perceive, samikshamanaha, that it's all parishrama. Parishrama means hard work for nothing. Let's see what's in this purport. Bhagavad Dharma, or the cult of Srimad Bhagavatam, is perfectly distinct from the way of fruitive activities, which are considered by devotees merely a waste of time. The whole universe, or the whole material existence, is moving on as Jagat. Jagat means that which is moving, the universe, simply for planning business to make one's position very comfortable or secure, although everyone sees that this existence is neither comfortable nor secure and can never become comfortable or secure at any stage of development. This is quite an issue, actually, this question of security. We've been discussing this in our Vanaprastha seminar. It becomes certainly a question in old age. What about security? And we have to discuss that more. But one point is that the whole world is insecure. There is no security. My mom, 30 years ago maybe, got an insurance policy for assistance with home care in the event that she needs it. So far she's 97 and she hasn't needed it, but the insurance company has gone to the brink of insolvency. So the security offered is now at risk. Apart from that, in so many ways, we see that our security can be busted at any moment. We think that we're secure. We think that everything is tacked down, but there's no guarantee of safety. There's no guarantee of security. Anything can be upended, overturned at any moment. And as for comfort, same story. We have what? No guarantee of comfort at all. We can spend money for all sorts of comforts and still be in agony, either physically or mentally or both. Those who are captivated by the illusory advancement of material civilization, following the way of phantasmagoria, are certainly madmen. The whole material creation is a jugglery of names only. In fact, it is nothing but a bewildering creation of matter, like earth, water, and fire. The buildings, furniture, cars, bungalows, mills, factories, industries, peace, war, or even the highest perfection of material science, namely atomic energy and electronics, are all simply bewildering names of material elements with their concomitant reactions of the three modes. It's all a show. It's all a kaleidoscope. It's all a phantasmagoria. Because I'm not this body, but I'm thinking I'm this body. I'm thinking then that this is my wife, this is my home, these are my children, this is my country, this is my army, this is my this is my that. And it's like a show. It's like a mental, an imagination, because within a moment, I'm going to be kicked out. By the calculation of the demigods, we live just for like an eye blink. During that eye blink, we're having so many dreams of career advancement and so many things. Since the devotee of the Lord knows these things perfectly well. He's not interested in creating unwanted things for a situation which is not at all reality, but simply names of no more significance than the babble of sea waves. Empires and so many great things, and it's all lost. The great kings, leaders, and soldiers fight with one another in order to perpetuate their names in history. They are forgotten in due course of time, and they make place for another era in history. Imperious Caesar, when dead and turned to clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away. The Caesar's body, the body of the great Julius Caesar, turns to clay. It's buried and it turns to clay. And then you might use that clay to stop up the hole in a wall to keep the wind out. The great kings and leaders are forgotten in due course of time. And they make place for another era in history. That's also in Ecclesiastes, that the men of former times are forgotten, and those who come next will be forgotten by those who come after. This is the real story of history. Who remembers the fourth governor of New Jersey? Anyone here remember him? Not all at once now. He's forgotten. He's forgotten. Let's see, I've got some questions here. I should probably move my things on my screen so I can see the questions always. That's better. Oops, then it springs back. Stop that. I didn't want you to do that. Okay. Sound is good. Okay. Good. Rasadas. In regard to feeling the protection of the Lord, should we expect that protection if we are trying to surrender? Okay, well, I skipped a question by Kendra. I'll come back to it. In regard, should we expect that if we're trying to surrender? Should our mood be that the Lord may protect me or not? I will continue regardless. Well, what protection are we expecting? That's our first question. What exactly are we expecting Krishna to protect? Thank you, Dukahantri. Joseph Bloomfield, October 31st, 1801 to October 28th, 1802, the fourth governor of New Jersey. Well, his memory lives on. Just a name. Prabhupada said that about, he wrote a poem in Vrindavan, and he was reflecting that now I've come to Vrindavan and my former family member, it's just a list of names. I sometimes see some posting about my former classmates and their names. They're just names, Jimmy this and Carol that and Stevie this and Jimmy that. They're just names. They're just names. Joseph Bloomfield. It's just a name. So now we come back to this question of protection. What protection do we expect from Krishna? I'm not asking in a challenging way, but it's sort of an exploration. What we pray to Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Pahima. What exactly are we expecting? Any thoughts about it? are we expecting, physical protection, that we'll pray to Krishna, please protect me, and then, that means that I won't get COVID-19 and I won't get robbed, or I won't get beaten up, or I won't get this, or I won't get that, I won't get this disease, I won't get that disease, my money will be okay, my kids will make it, they won't have serious problems. What exactly are we expecting Krishna to do for us? Kendra says, the protection most devotees pray for in the Bhagavatam is never to forget Krishna. And Atina says, protection of our Krishna consciousness. And Gurudas says, please allow me to remember you life after life. That protection. That protection we can hope for. The other protection seems like praying to Krishna to protect something which is destined to be finished, or praying for a situation which simply may not be found in this material world. There's so many people in this world praying to God for this and that, and then they don't get it. They don't get it. May my father come back from the war, may my brother come back, and then they don't come back, and we become atheists. So if we're praying to Krishna for security in this world, we may be disappointed. We may get it. Even then, if we get it, like Dhruva Maharaj, he got it. He was praying for a kingdom that was greater even than his grandfather's, and he got it, greater than Brahma's. And then after getting it, he felt like a fool. I approached the Supreme Personality of Godhead for a stupid kingdom. And now I've got to live here in this material world to fulfill to enjoy the fulfillment of my desire for tens of thousands of years. What an ass I am. How stupid. That's how Dhruva Maharaj was thinking. I was praying to Krishna for that. Even Indra, there's sort of a joking exchange or joking sequence in Brihad Bhagavatamrita where Indra is being glorified by the great pious king of the earth as living forever, as being free from all fears, as enjoying. And then when Narada meets Indra and glorifies him that way, Indra denies the whole thing. He says, we're full of fears. We have no security. We get driven out of here by the demons sometimes, or even have to serve them. So that's the material world. Even the demigods have no security. And kshine punye marcha lokam vishanti, they eventually have to fall down. But even before that. So it seems that our prayers, of course, what is that? Arta jigyasu gyanicha. To pray to Krishna for material things is also considered pious, is also considered, pious. But it's a compromised position. We're praying to Krishna, please give me a suitable illusion. Please give me a phantasmagoria that suits me well. Please make me this, please make me that. But it will all be finished. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I don't want all of these things. I just want to be your servant. And then that security, that Yogakshema Vahamyam, Prabhupada glosses that way, that Krishna protects the Krishna consciousness of the devotee. And yes, yoga and kshema gives him merciful protection. fruitive worker aspires after a big fortune, in the matter of wealth, woman, and worldly adoration. But those who are fixed in perfect reality are not at all interested in such false things. For them, it's all a waste of time. Let me just look on this side. It's easier to see here. Then Prabhupada cautions that he said this is all a waste of time, and then Prabhupada says every second of time is important. So one should be careful, an enlightened man should be careful to use the time cautiously. 1 second of human life wasted in the vain research of planning for happiness in the material world can never be replaced, even if one spends millions of coins in gold. So one shouldn't be captivated by the external features of fruitive actors. That's another thought, that we should preserve our time, keep it from being wasted on securing our place in the phantasmagoria. Yavadarta, we should do what we need to do, but not get carried away with trying to secure a place in this world. It's so much more important to secure a place at the lotus feet of Krishna. Therefore, the transcendentalist, desiring freedom from the clutches of Maya, is warned not to be captivated by the external features of fruitive actors. Human life is never meant for sense gratification, but for self-realization. Srimad Bhagavatam instructs us solely on this from the beginning. Human life is simply meant for self-realization. Jivasya tattva jigyasa. The civilization which aims at this utmost perfection never indulges in creating unwanted things. And such a perfect civilization prepares men only to accept the bare necessities of life, or to follow the principles of the best use of a bad bargain. The human body is the bad bargain, but we should make the best use of it for Krishna consciousness, accepting only the bare necessities of life, depending more on God's gift without diversion of human energy for any purpose, other purpose, such as being mad for material enjoyment. Apramatta, yeah? Apramatto, vyavasaya buddhi. We shouldn't be bewildered. And here, very pointedly, the civilization is bewildered because they're trying to create this and trying to create that and this and that. We need this, we should have that, I want this, everyone else has that. What will we do without this? And we create a civilization in which we're trapped by all our things. We're trapped by all of our things, and we forget the purpose of life. We forget the purpose of life. The materialistic advancement of civilization is called the civilization of the demons, which ultimately ends in wars and scarcity. That's the atyahara in the Upadeshamrita. This atyahara, collecting too much, is like the theme of the modern world. People have so much money and they want more. They want to preserve their assets, wealth management, and get more and more and more. And the result is wars, scarcity, and miserable civilization. Kendra says, 1 second of human life wasted in the vain research makes me regret a large percentage of my Google searches. Yeah, let's face it, we're all distracted by our devices, our gadgets, and we're encouraged to be distracted. There's people whose salaries depend on their ability to distract us, to keep us going on things that have no real meaning for us, but will keep us engaged on their platform. And this is the advancement of civilization. If you think about the kind of life that we live, and then you think about life 200 or 300 years ago, you might think that it was better 200 or 300 years ago. Simpler, more healthy, less agitated by this and that and the other thing, more secure in many ways, a simple life depending on agriculture and the land. You have greater security than at any, because like right now, so many people are being laid off, yeah, or fearing that they may be laid off. Simpler, easier, less complicated way of life. Even dying has become more complicated. People used to die at home, now they die in medical institutions. Tina has a question. Okay, Tina, let's hear.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
So I was speaking to a devotee today, and he had reached out because prior to my taking to a new path within, for example, yoga meditation, I was in the corporate world, in a very prestigious job and school. And he had asked for contacts for someone to, if anyone had gone to his like MBA program and consulting. And really my response was, he had spent about 7 years as a monk and now wants to go into Grihastha life.
Say that again? Your response was what?
Well, first he was a monk for 7 years and now going into Grihastha life and he wants to get married, he wants children, and he's seeing this as a way to provide for his family and his parents. He wants to buy them a house and just make sure they're situated. Before hearing that, I had basically told him, why? It's a sludge. You're working day in, day out. You don't need to make that much money. Whatever job you get, you can live of and live a simpler life. And that was his response, that he wants to get married. He wants to provide nicely for his wife and his children. He wants to make sure his parents are well situated. And his idea is maybe sludge it out for 4 to 5 years consulting, make a lot of money, then maybe take an easier job. And then he wants to retire at 52 and then just focus on devotional life. Is that the right mentality? Because I couldn't quite comment on it. I went the complete opposite. I was an investment banker, venture capital investor, gave it all up, realized it's not fulfilling at all. And you don't need that much to live and live a simple life. As we say, it's simple living, high thinking. And he's kind of going the opposite, but his intentions are not in the sense of wanting to provide for his family and then ultimately take Vanaprastha at 52 and focus on devotional life. So is that wrong in one sense?
And how old is he now?
I believe he is 35.
Yeah. Well, it's not wrong. I don't want to criticize anyone's individual choices and say, he's wrong. But certainly from your description, it's a more complicated life. And when you say his idea is to work for 4 or 5 years, one suspects, I think everyone on the call probably suspects, that it's not going to work that way. We get in that, we think I'll just get in there and work 4 or 5 years and then I'll have what I need, and like bop in and bop out. I'll drop down into the corporate world, grab as much money as I need, and scoop up as much money as I need, and then make my getaway. And it doesn't work like that. It's like going onto Facebook for 5 minutes. It doesn't happen. You wind up half an hour, an hour. So this is the nature of complicating our life. Therefore, my advice would be, hey, you've been a monk for 7, why not just stick it out? But all right, if you want to get married and have a family and so on, then this is where it goes. There's nothing wrong with it. That's what you need to do. If you're going to have a family, then you have to support your family. To support your family, you have to earn money and spend money. So it's not wrong. We're not against householder life. We don't say it's wrong, but it's certainly more expensive. It's certainly more expensive and more entangling. That as a monk, you don't have to spend any real money. You don't have to think about how many, what your strategy is for career advancement. Just have to serve. So that's really not creating unnecessary necessities. But once we go the other way and say, well, I'd like to have a wife, I'd like to have children, and then Griha, Kshetra, Sutta, Apta, then I need a house, I need a bigger house, I need some land, we need some vacation time, we need to take care of this and that, and then we have our relatives, and we have taxes to worry about, and so it's not so easy. It's not so easy. Therefore, if possible, one is recommended avoid family life. Or the next suggestion is keep it very simple. The corporate, as you're saying, the corporate life is demanding and disappointing in so many ways. But again, it's not for me to tell people, don't do this or don't do that. Whatever you're going to do, chant Hare Krishna, be engaged in Krishna service, but it's a more difficult life. And our expectations may not be realistic. I'll go in for 4 or 5 years and I'll have money for myself and my wife and my children and my parents, and everything will work out. It may not at all work out. We're 5 years, well, it's going to take me 7. Well, 7 was not quite enough, it'll take me 9. Well, it might be 15. And at the end of your life, you spent, you're still working, because if you quit at 65, you'll miss something. Jivasya tattva jigyasa. Human life is simply meant for self-realization. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
If we can save ourselves from that, life will be so much easier.
And Maharaj, and ultimately, not the one to tell him that. If that is his idea and he's initiated devotee, been practicing bhakti for a long time, 10 years plus. And so I presume he knows this. So it's really not my place to say.
A little slower, Tina, because our connection is not so great. Just a little slower, and then that'll help us.
Sure. I guess I was just confirming that it's really not my place to tell him that you don't need to go into consulting. It's a high-paying job, but it's a sludge. You can, if you want to provide for your family, you can find a similar job, and I'm not the one to tell him that in one sense. I should of course, be helpful, but knowing, you know, from devotee to devotee, it's really not my place to tell that. This
Yeah,
is
I mean, you, of course, he's asking you about consulting. You're the expert. You can tell him, you know, here's my experience of consulting. It's a sludge. It's unrewarding in so many ways. So then he has that data and he can do what he likes with it. He can say, well, yeah, but it'll get me the money I need fast or whatever. But, you know, you're certainly qualified to tell him that. You don't have to tell him, are you crazy? What do you think you're going to do? You fool. You don't have to tell him all that, but you can just tell him, hey, I was in the corporate world. I was doing consulting and here's my experience of it. So that at least if he's sort of, what's the word, floating in with helium in the clouds there, he might come a little closer to Earth as to, or be, you know, be more realistic in his expectations of what he could get from consulting. That you're certainly qualified to do.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Something else? The transcendentalist is specifically warned herewith to be fixed in mind, so that even if there's difficulty in plain living and high thinking, he will not budge even an inch from his stark determination. That's what Prabhupada's advising us. It may be tough, but stick to it. Stick to simple living, stick to high thinking. Don't get trapped in the civilization of the demons. For a transcendentalist, it's a suicidal policy to be intimately in touch with the sense gratifiers of the world, because such a policy will frustrate the ultimate goal of life. Sukadeva Goswami met Maharaj Parikshit when the king felt a necessity for such a meeting. It's the duty of a transcendentalist to help persons who desire real salvation and support the cause of salvation. Sukadeva Goswami never met the king while he was ruling as a great king. For a transcendentalist, the mode of activities is explained in the next sloka. We'll find out about that in our next meeting, how Sukadeva Goswami is recommending that one who's serious about spiritual advancement live with radical simplicity. Radical simplicity. By radical simplicity, one becomes more happy. And by trapping oneself in a passionate way of life, one creates so many problems for oneself. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Anything else? Yes. Stark determination, yes. Prabhupada himself was the example of stark determination. It takes stark determination to live simply, first to follow the 4 regulative principles takes stark determination. To chant 16 rounds, follow these 4 regulative principles throughout one's life. If one wants to be brahmachari, that takes serious determination. Or if one wants to live in any way that's simple. If one wants to give up family life at the mature stage, it takes stark determination. And Prabhupada showed that. If one wants to preach, it takes stark determination. Vyavasayatmika buddhi. That's probably what Prabhupada's translating there. Vyavasayatmika buddhi is stark determination. Shriddha Vrta. Tulsi Priya has a question.
Hi, Krishna Maharaj, thank you. My question is that when we study the different shastras, whether it's Chaitanya Charitamrita or Bhagavatam, we see devotees in all kinds of conditions of life, and some are wealthy and some are very poor. There was a period where I was hoping that I could emulate Vidyinidhi in all respects. But
where you could emulate who? I couldn't hear you.
Pundarik Vidyanidhi.
Pundarik Vidyanidhi.
And I'm just wondering, sometimes, I guess in any kind of situation of service, whether or material desires that we want to pursue, whether it's pure devotional service or material desires, there has to be some endeavor. So my question is that karma or Krishna himself may put us into certain conditions. And sometimes the conditions may be exactly opposed to what it is that we want to achieve in our devotional service. And so we have to struggle against that condition. Or we get put into another condition and we can capitalize on that condition and ride the wave, whether it's in pursuing wealth to do service with, or in pursuing simplicity and austerity to do service with. So I guess my question is, how do we know when it's advisable to struggle against conditions, or if we should just resign ourselves and ride the wave of whatever position we find ourselves in? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. The main thing is not yadrich chalaba santushta. First thing is, usually the conditions we're looking for are more prosperous, more comfortable, more, life with more facility. And trying to get that, for some people it just comes. And for other people, it never comes, no matter what you do. So Krishna advises, yadrich chalaba santushta. One should be satisfied with what comes. According to your karma, you'll get yours. So santushta means be satisfied. That's austerity also. What is that in Bhagavad Gita? The austerity in the mode of goodness on the platform of the mind is satisfaction. Satisfaction. Be satisfied with what comes, and don't be regretful that I couldn't get a different situation. The whole world is sort of like that, full of envy, wishing that they could be like other people who have more, who have better, who have, more famous or more rich, or they're better looking spouses or whatever. And Krishna just says, just be satisfied. Just be satisfied. And even if you get more, all right, then use that for Krishna. And take direction from the spiritual master, because every case is different. For some, it's better, you may get more, but better to duck it, to not let yourself get more, to be careful about that. And for other people, it's not really a problem. They can handle it, as it were. Pundarik Vidyanidhi wasn't held back by his opulence. But generally, opulence is a problem for the transcendentalist. We get money, we get facility, and we get comfortable, and we get bewildered. We start getting complacent. We start feeling that we're better than others. So one is advised not to accumulate much, not to. So in general, the main thing is to accept, all right, this is what Krishna has given me. He's given me more, I'll use it for his service. He's given me less, good. It's keeping me honest. The main thing is to be fixed. Vyavasayatmika buddhi.
I appreciate what you're saying, and I understand how it's, the context of what you're saying. I guess I'm also thinking about having certain ambitions for service. Like, for instance, the TOVP is a huge, ambitious service. The temple in Parsippany, there's a lot of endeavor and there's a lot of striving to achieve a certain goal to do service. So how,
Again, one has to be properly guided by the spiritual master, by good intelligence, by the council of devotees. Sometimes endeavor is good. Sometimes endeavor is foolish. Sometimes a big project will be the key to a successful spreading of Krishna consciousness. Sometimes it'll be the key to spending a lot of money for nothing and being always in anxiety. So one should be carefully guided, take good counsel. There's a story, it's probably been told here before, that Prabhupada, the devotees in Montreal were thinking of getting a new temple. And they were looking at buildings and, of course it was expensive. And Prabhupada said, why purchase anxiety? It's, so much money, you'll simply be in anxiety. Then Prabhupada came to Montreal, and when he was there, the devotees thought, well, let's show Prabhupada the building. And Prabhupada liked it. And he said, you should get it. And they said, but Prabhupada, it'll be so much anxiety to raise the funds to maintain the building. Prabhupada said, you must be in anxiety. So again, to be guided. I've seen both. I've seen big projects that have been wonderfully successful and have spread Krishna consciousness like anything. Big, or just normal big, ambitious. And then I've seen things that have just entangled the people who've gotten involved with them. It's just been over endeavor. So one should be carefully thoughtful and properly and take good counsel. And I've overspent. I'm 5 minutes in arrears here. So we'll hand things over to Mr. Gopal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maharaj, for yet another engaging evening as we embark on this second chapter. And I'm looking forward to the next verse, which I've read many times in the past, and it's always blown my mind. And I have meditated on it, and I found it just the thought of it, quite liberating, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I get excited by just the imagery in that next verse. So I invite all the devotees to please stay tuned. Do not miss the next class. The
next several verses, actually.
Yeah, they're quite amazing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much. And thank you, dear devotees, for joining again. I'll make a quick announcement about our upcoming week. Let's see. So as you all know, we have our Vanaprastha adventure on Thursdays from 7 to 8 with Jayadvaita Maharaj. And you can find the link on his website, jswami.info. So that's on Thursdays from 7 to 8. And of course, our temple project is coming along nicely. We are thinking in a few weeks we'll be having a foundation pouring ceremony as well. So stay tuned for that. We'll announce that ceremony. Life in Bhakti series continues. The 2 sessions have already finished. This is Sachinandan Swami's Life in Bhakti series on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. On this link. So you can find that on Facebook, on Sachinandan Swami's Facebook, organized by our temples here, Bhakti Center, Towaco Temple, Central New Jersey, ISKCON New York, and Gitanagri. So we have 4 more sessions left for that. And on this channel, now we no longer do Saturday classes. So we only have 6 days a week. So Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, we have His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj on the second Canto series. On Tuesday, we have Chaturatma Prabhu, which is tomorrow. So tomorrow evening, please join for his great Chaturatma Prabhu.
Can you turn up your mic, please?
Sorry, what's that? You can't hear me? Okay, I'll speak up a little louder. So on Tuesday, we have Chaturatma Prabhu, and on Thursday, we have Achyuta Devidasi again, once more. And on Sunday evening, we have His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Swami Maharaj on the importance of seeing the deity of the Lord. So some very nice topics coming up. So if you're in India and Sydney and Europe, then there's no Sunday class. If you're in the US, there's no Saturday class. It's really the same thing because the days are different in those other countries. So please make a note of that. And we look forward to seeing you all. I'm going to request Neelamani Prabhu to close out the evening, and then we can open up for everyone else.
Okay, thank you, Madan Gopal Prabhu. Thank you, all the devotees. And thank you, Maharaj, for another engaging, provocative discussion and very thoughtful, thought-provoking topics there. So thank you. And certainly looking forward to the next session on Wednesday. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Haribo.
Thank you. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Mahesh Pandit.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you. Good night.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Always.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Gurudev.
Hare Krishna Lakshmana. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Mahesh Pandit Prabhu.